just staring at me. I'm trying so hard to make sense of this. Tidal waves, all of my thoughts are washed away again.
Bass.
Yeah, so about the bass recording, we tried to keep it very simple because we wanted to see what we can do in the box later on. So we didn't use an amp or microphones or anything. We just recorded the amp straight into the desk, if you will.
So you can see what we are coming up with sound-wise, and you can just recreate it if you like it in your own program.
Yeah, the guitar part carries the song. So I think an important aspect of the bass recording was that we got together and we had to figure out a little bit, like composition-wise or arrangement-wise, what is the role of the bass and how is it going to sit in the mix later on. And that's also stuff you should really think about at the front end, like right at the recording, like in the hands of the player. And with bass, obviously, there's like different things you can consider, like playing with a pick, playing with your fingers, and then also how much aggression do you want to put into the recording? What's the like purpose and role of the bass later on? Because this can differ, and I think we had a little like we tried out a couple things.
The first discussion we had about is, should the bass follow the riff of the guitar, or should it follow the groove of the drums? We opted for the second,
yes,
because the guitar riff is already busy and it's great the way it is. So we thought it would be groovier if it would follow more the drums with the occasional escape into following the guitar a little bit more. And then, pick versus finger. I'm a big friend of having fingered bass because you just have more meat.
Yeah.
And since the guitars are very chuggy, they do all the stuff.
Yeah.
We thought that the bass could have more
oomph,
more balls than you maybe get out of just a pick sound. But then we had the option between, Marc offered me two different playing styles. One was more mellow with more meat on the finger, like more thicker sound and more tamed. Or the other was with more fingertip and more aggression and more mid-crunch. And we both liked the
mid-crunch.
Mid-crunch. I had the challenge then during mix to get enough low end out of it, because if you play with a lot of aggression and a lot of clong, then your bass is happening a lot in the mid range, but you also need the fundamental to get it thick. But I will show you this in one of the future episodes, how it will have been mixed.
Yes.
We love the attitude.
Yeah.
And music is about emotion and attitude, and so we chose attitude over sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Because the sound part we knew that we could fix in the mix, it's the wrong term, that we could address this in the mix or in the sound creating stage, but the attitude is happening right here.
Yeah. I would maybe add one last thing, just about the player thing. Whatever you do on the front end, especially in this case where we didn't have like a lot of pedals and amps and all that kind of stuff, we just went straight like direct in. Whatever you choose is fine. You can play mellow or aggressive or with a pick or with fingers, but especially with bass, I find it's very important to be very consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you don't go through any sort of compression or distortion at the front end. So in the moment we decided to go for the more aggressive part, I really tried to make sure that the hits are still even. And it's not like a random aggressiveness. It should be like very, it's just like hit the same spot of aggressiveness in
this
the notes.
goes as far as to choose if you play like eighth notes with two fingers or just one, more often than not you will have more consistency to play with just one finger instead of alternating fingers, because just like dado, 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 or don, 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 don.
Yes.
This is just an artistic choice. The one can be good in one part, but the other can be good in another part. So these are things that the tools that you have literally at the tip of your hands, built-in compression.
Yes.
This bass also has like as thick strings as I could find to put on.
Yeah.
Especially to be able to play in low tuning, because the one problem that the same as with guitars that you encounter very often is that your tuning does not stay stable if your strings are too thin for the tuning.
Yes.
Because I think Marc already mentioned this in the guitar part. If you attack a string, you will have like a bouncing, like ding, ding. The pitch is a little bit up for the attack and then settles down, except if the strings are so fat that the tuning will stay pretty consistent through the attack and sustain phase. So if you go low, you go thick.
Yes, and especially if you go hard, because then it exaggerates the problem, basically.
Exactly. That's pretty much what we have on the input side, and what we did on the mix side, we will reveal in a future episode.